Good evening. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this celebration for Dr. Wally Wilkerson. Let's give Dr. Wally a big hand right now. A lot of effort has gone into putting this together tonight. We want to say a special thank you to the committee that has put this organization and this meeting together tonight. It's a group of the very active Republican women across Montgomery County, and I tell you what, I always say, if you don't think God has a plan, just tell him yours. The Republican women are kind of the same way. You may change on you, but they're going to get something done, I guarantee you. So we got a group of women here. I want to introduce the committee, and then at the end, if you'll help me tell them how much we appreciate their efforts tonight, because they put a lot of this together and pitched in dollars of their own personal money to make this program come together. So Kristen Christ is our chair. Pearl Maggio. Pearl Maggio. It's a long list. Let me run through all these and then we'll give them all a big hand. How's that? We've got Ann Kay, Pat Truesdale, Alice Malone-Song, Linda Stuckey, Suzanne Adams, Dorothy Woodall, Karen Darcy, Ritzy Fletcher, Michelle Martin, Marissa Rummel, Mary Kirk, Jean Mann, Kathy Adams, Julie Bobble, Kenna Seiler, Kim Bailey, Stephanie Gray, Mary Kirk, Stacy Buick, Kathleen Larkin, and Kathleen Rummel. What a great group. Thank you, each and every one of you. We've got a very special musical performance tonight. We have Mary Sarah here with us tonight. Now, she's a rising country star. She had a 4-chair turn on the 10th season of The Voice, and became, Blake Shelton was her coach, and she made it to the semifinals. And she's performed at concerts across the country, and has appeared 5 times on the Grand Ole Opry stage in Nashville, Tennessee. We have our music sponsors tonight for Mary Sarah's performance. We have Patricia and Todd Gross, Betty and Jean Wolfe, State Senator Brandon Creighton, Alton Hughes, Marcia and Larry Corley, and Lynn and Bill Barkfield. Let's tell our music sponsors how much we appreciate them. Our food sponsors tonight, the drinks were supplied by Raising Cane's and cookies from Montgomery Bakehouse. Our media sponsor tonight is the Montgomery County Gazette. They'll be videoing this event tonight, so thank you for being here with us. Okay. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us get this put together. Now let's get this thing started really right. I'm going to ask Judge James Metz, our JP from Precinct 4, to come and deliver our opening prayer and give a few words about Dr. Wally. Judge?
Ladies and gentlemen, will you bow with me in prayer? Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, it's with humble hearts we approach your throne of grace this afternoon. Thank you for the many blessings you have bestowed upon this great country called America. Lord, we just thank you for all the freedom that we have. And next, Lord, for the servicemen and women that have allowed that to happen. Our first responders, EMS, all those people that help keep us safe here on a daily basis, our law enforcement of all various agencies, Lord. Just pray that you put a shield around them as only you can do and bring them home safely each evening. Lord, we ask you to bless each family, each household that's represented here this evening. Bless this event, Lord, and this good man, Dr. Wally Wilkerson, for all that he has done for so many people in the room here tonight and across this county and others that could not attend. Bless the occasion, bless the event, and we give all praise and thanks to you through your Son, Jesus Christ. And we praise his name. Amen. Amen. You know, Governor, just for a moment or two, I wanted to bring something to you, something you can count on. In this day and age, ladies and gentlemen, it's becoming, there's less that you can count on in America today. Simple things like your internet provider is difficult to find service, and we rely on it desperately. In the office, we rely on that day. If you're an elected official in Montgomery County today, you have to have it. And it's difficult not to have breakdowns, and they count on that. Your cell phone provider. We pay $600 for a cell phone, and they're worse now than they were when they began the service in around '85. Less and less that you can count on. Our pastors, our priests, it's disappointing in the way things are in society today. It's discouraging at times. But I want to tell you, there are some things that you can still count on First and foremost, you can count on the Lord God Almighty who sits in heaven on high to provide you a plan of salvation through His Son, Jesus Christ. You can count on the sun and the moon to come up in the east and set in the west as long as the good Lord provides. And on the human side of things, you can count on this good man that we're here for tonight, Dr. Wally Wilkerson. Now, I brought proof with me. I don't expect you to believe me, but I brought proof tonight. For you see, on February the 18th of 1975, I counted on Dr. Wilkerson to bring my son into this world safe and sound. His name is James Mitch Jr. He's right here in the Children's Church. Now, Dr. Wilson, it's my understanding that Jamie is still a bit upset with you for slapping him around about making him cry, and I think he wants to see you after the event tonight, so just so you know. Some 2 years later, I counted on him to bring my daughter into the world on February 3rd of '77 to bring her in this world safe and sound, and he did that. Many of you have counted on him for the same reason, also for sound medical advice. He provided that to many of us in this room and many others throughout his time here in Montgomery County. He's also counted on him to be the chairman of the Republican Party for over 50 years. What an outstanding job. Yes. I love you, they love you, brother. What an outstanding job this good man has done. So with that said, Dr. Wilkerson, by the appearance and by the applause of the people here this evening, I admire and respect you for taking a stand in difficult circumstances. You're an admiration for me to take the high road. You stayed on the high road. I did my best to stay there as well, and you inspire me. And it is my prayer that God will continue to bless you and your family, and Godspeed to you in all your endeavors, Dr. Wilkerson. God bless you. I love you, and you can see so many others do as well. Thank you.
And now if you'll join me in welcoming our retired Sheriff Tommy Gage to lead us in our pledges.
Thank you, Judge. Well, let me tell you, it's first of all, and then we'll get to these pledges. What an honor for me to have the opportunity to stand here for Dr. Wilkerson tonight. For somebody who's been just a great supporter of mine, a friend, and my doctor just a few years ago. It's an honor to be here. You know, when you have somebody that's worked as hard as Brother Wilkerson or Dr. Wilkerson has all these years, and it's just hard work, and dedication, and integrity that has brought this Republican Party to where it is today, and it's all because of Dr. Wilkerson, and we appreciate you, Doctor. We'll just join me in the pledge to the United States of America flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the flag of the great state of Texas.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sheriff. All right, now if you will help me welcome over here Ms. Pearl Maggio and Ritzy Fletcher. We're going to introduce some of our elected officials.
Thank you, Judge Doyle. Thank all of you for coming out and acknowledging all the work that went into making this evening a success. First of all, let me introduce the guests on the stage. If you will stand, and we will recognize you. First of all, our former Sheriff, Tommy Gage. I almost didn't recognize him without his hat. Commissioner Mike Metter from Precinct 1. Commissioner For Wally Precinct 2. Thank you, Mr. State Representative Cecil Bell from District 3. Mr. Bell, when I looked you up online, it says that you were well known in the Capitol as the man who always wore his hat and tried to keep back same-sex marriage in this state. You were known for that. Justice of the Peace, Wayne Mack, Precinct 1. Justice of the Peace we met just a minute ago, James Mack, Precinct 4. Marlene Tejeda. Please stand and be recognized. This lady has worked to bring Hispanics into our party and has set up the Alliance for New Americans. And Marisa Romel, also a big advocate for Hispanics in our party, and works along with Marlene and teaches classes for Hispanics to learn English. Thank you, ladies. Dorothy Woodall. This lady has set the standards for all the Republican women in the county. Everybody follows her lead. She has served in many offices for the North Shore Republican women. Also chairs the headquarters hospitality and is there most of the time, I think. Doesn't get paid, but she's there a lot. Alice Melanson, another great Republican woman. President of the Montgomery County Republican Women. She serves on the state level for Republican women and also is an officer in the Harris County Greater Houston Council. Kim Bailey has worked with our clubs with Republican women. Special guest tonight, Geraldine Helms, who is a nurse that's worked with Dr. Wilkerson during his last 5 years. Dr. Carl Scarborough, also an associate of Dr. Rob Eisler, former state rep. You all know him. Never lost for words. Thank you for coming, Rob. He's going to speak to you about an upcoming rally for Republican candidates. Thomas Markham, who is here representing Lillian Hancock is here representing Senator Mitchell. Another special guest is Alice Coker, who is with the Salvation Army, of which Dr. Wilkerson serves on the board. Thank you all so much for being here.
Ms. Lilly.
It's a long list. Putting this together was exciting because I got to see all the wonderful people that run our county, our leaders in our county, and they are amazing. We're really, really blessed in Montgomery County to have the type of leadership that we do. Y'all sit down. It's all right, it's hot, I know. Okay, let me put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. All right. So tonight we have Judge Phil Grant. He's judge of the 9th District Court. State Representative Mark Keogh, also represented for the 15th District. Constable Philip Cash serves as constable for Precinct 1 in Willis. Constable David Hill serves as constable in Precinct 5. Constable Gene Forrest serves as constable in Precinct 2. Mark Conroe serves as Montgomery County Clerk. Andy McRae serves as County Tax Assessor. Ryan Gable, elected in 2012 at Precinct 3. Judge Kathleen Hamilton, elected in 2002, as a 359th District Court Judge. Judge Kathleen Dennis, elected in 2016 to serve as Judge of the 435th District. Barbara Adamic, County District Clerk for 21 years. Judge Craig Five, Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2. Thank you for being here.
And now to be forgotten, our county judge, Craig Dorr. Craig Dorr has served this county since 2001. Prior to being elected county judge, he served as commissioner for precinct 2. So thank you, Judge, for doing what you did.
Thank you, Pearl. Thank you for doing everything that you guys have done. Now, if you will join me in welcoming Mary Sarah to perform our national anthem. Your stage.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Now see why all 4 chairs turned around. Well done. Great job. Would please help me welcome from Precinct 1, Commissioner Mike Fetter. He's going to come and give us welcome to you.
Thank you, Judge. Good evening to everyone. Want to welcome you here. Janie and I were coming here from our home at Longmire, and I don't know how many of you saw the rainbow.
Yes.
It was brilliant. One of the brightest, most brilliant rainbows I've seen in a long time. And that shows us, I think that was a sign that there's brighter things to come. I'm very honored and privileged to be able to say a few things tonight about Dr. Wilkerson. Dr. Wilkerson's had a lot of different names over the years. People call him Dr. Wally, Dr. Wilkerson, Boss, Honorable Dr. Wilkerson, Pioneer, which he is. But I'm going to call him Dr. Wilkerson because he delivered my 2 girls, Michelle and Carrie. And I have a question mark on here about how many babies Dr. Wilkerson delivered. And nobody can tell me, I bet he knows. But it's hundreds and hundreds of children that he brought into this world in Montgomery County. He also gave birth to the Republican Party. Has chaired the Republican Party since 1964. Served on the Republican Executive Committee from 65 to 78. Recently received from Association of Republicans of Texas their Lifetime Achievement Hats Off Award for his work. In 1995, Governor George Bush appointed Dr. Wilkerson to a 6-year term as chairman of the Texas Board of Health. Presidents have visited Montgomery County because of Dr. Wilkerson's involvement with the Republican Party. He's been a force in the party for years. He's chaired the party with transparency and fairness. His tireless work and gentle nature has brought Montgomery County from a Democratic county to a Republican county as we know it today. And I don't know if any of you guys remember that. I'm sure Dr. Wilkerson does. Our last Democratic elected official was a commissioner in Magnolia named Malcolm Purvis. And I don't know how Dr. Wilkerson did it, but he talked Malcolm into switching parties. Back in the, I don't know how he got it done. I think it was 96, but at one of Malcolm's big events that he has, he made the announcement that he was switching from Democratic to Republican ticket. And that was the last Democratic elected official that we had in the county. Dr. Wilson got that done, I don't know how he did it. I could go on and on about Dr. Wilson's contribution to our community and county, but I think everybody here knows it anyway. Thank you, Dr. Wilkerson, for delivering our babies. But thank you mostly for delivering our county to a great place to live, work, and raise our children.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Now we'll have a history of the Montgomery County Republican Party delivered first by Dorothy Woodall of the North Shore Republican Women, followed by Alice Melanson with the Montgomery County Republican Women, and Kim Bailey with the Woodlands Republican Women. Larissa Rummel and Marlene Tejada will tag team on the Hispanic outreach effort, and then Rob Eisler will follow up about an upcoming Republican rally. So, Woodall.
Good evening. We are so pleased that you are here tonight. It is awesome that the silent majority have found their voices. When I wrote this speech, I asked my husband, Ray, if he would listen to me give it, and I did. And when it was over, I said, well, what do you think? And he said, well, Dorothy, that's not you. And I said, oh, what do you mean it's not me? He said, my goodness, you can talk for hours without notes, and you're using notes. Well, I promise not to talk for hours, but I am going to use my notes because some of the facts that I have, I want to be sure that I give the right times and dates. I'd like for you to take a stroll back in time to General Dwight D. Eisenhower's presidential victory in 1952. And this was before most of you were born. I was in high school, but I still wasn't old enough to vote. The state of Texas was a Democrat state. But with the election of President Eisenhower, there was renewed interest in the Republican Party. A county chair was appointed together with 6 precinct chairs. In 1957, County Chair Herbert Cartwright resigned in protest when President Eisenhower ordered federal troops into Central High School in Little Rock to enforce school integration. And by the way, this was my high school. The county chair position remained vacant until 1962. And this was also the year that Dr. Wilkerson was elected as a delegate to the National Convention held in San Francisco. There is a picture of the delegates at this convention, and he can point out where he was seated. Remind me sometime, and I'll tell you my faux pas at the 1988 National Convention. It was terribly embarrassing. Oil was discovered in Montgomery County, which brought an influx of oil field workers, and I think most of you know that my family is oil. A son oil engineer was appointed to the chairmanship in 1962. Under his leadership, the first Republican primary was held in May of 1962 with 38 votes cast. Shortly after the primary, the county chair was transferred and James Young, a humble oil engineer, was named. Dr. Walter Wilkerson was named vice chairman. In early 1964, Mr. Young was transferred by his company. The 1964 Republican primary had 105 voters, and Dr. Walter Wilkerson was elected the county chairman. For the past 27 elections, he has been elected our county chairman. Presidential nominee Barry Goldwater and Texas U.S. Senate nominee George H.W. Bush of Houston ran a much stronger race in this county than they did statewide. Because of the interest generated by the Goldwater-Bush campaigns, a permanent headquarters was established in 1965 at 308 Collins Street. It was hoped that this location would help them compete with the Democrat headquarters, who was known as the county courthouse. This location had been the State Hotel built in 1931. During the oil rush, the oil field workers lived here, working 24-hour shifts. It was my understanding that when one shift ended, another worker claimed the bed previously occupied by another worker. There wasn't a change of linens. And this small site is currently the space of Dr. Wally and Melinda's office. The 1970s brought a steady population growth and Republican influence. President Gerald Ford visited the county in 1976 in his re-election bid against Ronald Reagan. Finally, in 1978, Texas elected a Republican governor, William Clements. The first Republican elected since Reconstruction days. And if you know your history, you know when that is. Also this year, Montgomery County elected their first Republican, Justice of the Peace, Mrs. Pat Ruffin. During the 1980s, Republicans elected county commissioners, county judge, district judge, county attorney, and county court at law judges. The Democrat sheriff and district attorney changed their party affiliations and were re-elected as Republicans. Also during this period of time, our 1980 census reported a population of 128,487. The primary election had a record turnout of 4,900 voters. The Woodlands was being developed during this time, and we discovered that they were waiting in long lines to cast their ballot. At this point in time, the elections was handled by the county clerk's office. I wonder what Mark thinks about that. Dr. Wilkerson persuaded the county judge to appoint a county elections administrator. Billy Smith Magnolia was appointed. She was succeeded by Linda Garner, and when Mrs. Garner retired, Carol Gautney was appointed. And upon her retirement, our present administrator is Susie Harvey. By 1994, with the victory of Senator Kay Bailey Hutchinson and Governor George W. Bush, only one Democrat remained as an elected official. He soon announced a change to Republican ranks and was re-elected, and I think that's who Mike was talking about. In 1994, we were able to acquire the space at 310 Collins Street. This had been the lobby of the old State Hotel, and in 2009, headquarters underwent a remodeling. The numerous campaign and political items have been carefully cataloged and stored by our own Alice Lonson. These are for everyone to come and enjoy. Yes, it is like a museum, but it is the history of our county. It is my privilege to serve as the headquarters chairman, but it is the volunteers who are there 5 days a week from 9 to 5. They are the ones who answer the telephone, greet the guests, and answer innumerable questions. They also listen to the complaints about every conceivable subject. I don't know if we can have lights for to see the audience, but if you are a volunteer or have been a volunteer at headquarters, I would really appreciate it if you would stand. I can't see your face. They truly are the heart and soul of this. For the past 18 years, all of the elected officials in Montgomery County have been Republicans. Under the leadership of Dr. Wilkerson, our county is known as the county with the large voter turnout, and the candidates recognize the importance of our county to their election campaigns. And in closing, I would like to quote Dr. Wally. This is what he says: "Here are the things I have learned. In politics is the art of the possible. In politics, you can rarely have it all. All or nothing guarantees you will get nothing. To exert maximum influence over public policy, you must first win elections. There is no perfect candidate on this earth. Always remain optimistic, lest you become desperate and ineffective." Thank you, Dr. Wally.
Next, we'll hear from Alice Melanson.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of Republican women's groups in Montgomery County. A new chapter of the Montgomery County Republican Party began in 1978 in Greenville, Texas. It was there that Lilia Grumalatis, a Lithuanian immigrant, met Susan and James Baker at a political event. The following year, while visiting with Susan Baker in Houston, Lilia mentioned that she was interested in moving to the Houston area. Susan Baker encouraged Lilia to move to Montgomery County and to begin a Republican Women's Club. Lilia moved to Conroe, Texas, and met with Dr. Wally Wilkerson, chairman of the Republican Party in Montgomery County, and he gave her blessings to begin a club. Notices were placed in the Conroe Courier and the Woodlands Villager, stating that a meeting would be held on Thursday, November 29, 1979 at 11 a.m. with Dr. Wally Wilkerson and Judge Pat Ruffin in attendance. That notice is in the archives. Lilia Grumalatis was quoted as saying, "It's going to be an extremely exciting year politically. I'm hoping to give people the chance to get together and do something in a group, not just talk about it." On Thursday, November 29th, at Lilia's kitchen table, a group of ladies met to begin the process of forming the Montgomery County Republican Women's Group. There were 21 ladies who became charter members of the group, with Shirley Frazier Murphy serving as the first president. Among those 21 charter members were Dr. Wally Wilkerson's wife, Nettie Jane. Because a Lithuanian immigrant loved America and the principles of the Republican Party, our Montgomery County Republican Party now has 7 Republican women's clubs. I'd like to introduce you to Lilia Grumalatis, who started it off. Lilia, please stand. As I said, there are now 7 Republican women's clubs in Montgomery County, and I realize you can't see out there, but, or maybe I can't see, but if I call your club's name, if you're a member of that club, please stand. Montgomery County Republican Women was chartered in 1979. The Wilkerson Republican Women's Club, originally called Pathfinders Republican Women, were chartered in 1987. The Conroe Area Republican Women were chartered in 1993. in 2001. In 2015, we had 2 clubs chartered, the Magnolia Area Republican Women and Montgomery County Republican Women. And our newest Republican Women's Club, the Liberty Bells Republican Women, were chartered in 2016. And Dr. Wilkerson can be counted on to attend most of our meetings and provide us with reports of what is happening with the party and what we can do to help. Now, what do? We work for our community, our state, and our nation. We participate in Caring for America projects by supporting our troops, providing supplies for those in need, providing funds to purchase and train service dogs for our veterans, and much, much more. We support the literacy program by providing dictionaries which contain copies of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution to elementary school students. We purchase books for school and county libraries, and we provide scholarships to deserving Montgomery County students. We promote Americanism. We celebrate Constitution Day with school students and provide them with copies of the Constitution. We educate our members about Americanism through articles in our newsletters and presentations at our meetings. We hold Americanism contests. But most of all, we get Republicans elected.
Amen.
With Dr. Wally Wilkerson's leadership and the leadership provided by the Texas Federation of Republican Women, we hold campaign forums in the community. We work for candidates from their campaign headquarters. We make phone calls regarding elected officials. Now, we've made phone calls from phone banks at Republican headquarters. We've made phone calls from a phone bank in a member's home. We've made phone calls from our own phones with a list provided from headquarters. And we've made phone calls from our home phones with a computer program designed by Montgomery County Republican Party. And now we're using the Advantage app to make phone calls. How times have changed from when it took the entire month of July to set up the technology to do phone calls from headquarters. We have walked and walked and walked and walked. We have worked election days as election judges, clerks, and candidate volunteers. We have achieved our goals of getting Republicans elected. As a matter of fact, several of our Republican Women's Club members are elected officials. Judge Kathleen Hamilton even served as president of the Montgomery County Republican Women's Club in 1993. Please stand if you're an elected official who's a member of our Republican Women's Club. Let's not forget our candidates. Melissa Miller, candidate for district clerk, and Melanie Bush, candidate for county treasurers, are members of the Montgomery County Republican Women. And Kristen Mays, our newest elected district judge, is a member of the Liberty Bells Republican Women. As of the July 1st reporting date, the ladies of Republican women's groups in Montgomery County have logged in over 15,000 campaign hours. Folks from Montgomery County often win awards from the Texas Federation of Republican Women and the National Federation of Republican Women because of their achievements. So, from our humble beginnings in 1979, and from Dr. Wilkerson's encouragement and leadership, we have been a vital part of the effectiveness of the Montgomery County Republican Party.
Now we're here for Kim Bailey to talk about the high school and young Republican clubs.
Thank you. I'm Kim Bailey.
He said I was in the Woodlands Republican Women, and I love the Woodlands Republican Women, but I'm actually in the Montgomery County Republican Women, so I just felt the need to correct that. It's okay. I'm actually going to piggyback a little bit on what Alice was saying about the Republican Women's Clubs. You know, one of the amazing things that the Republican Women's Clubs do is that they foster Republican ideals in our youth, especially in our high school students. And of the many Republican Women's Clubs in the county, several of them have sponsored high school Republican clubs. And this has just been so amazing. We've had some amazing clubs in this county. In fact, the Magnolia High School's Republican Club, it's actually 2 high schools that came together and formed a club. They've only been around for a few years, and last school year they won the most outstanding high school Republican club in the state. Very, very proud of that. So like I was saying, it's the Republican Women's Clubs that have sponsored these high school clubs. They put in their time, their money, brought lots of pizzas, tacos. But you know, honestly, it's been the leadership of Dr. Wally and his dedication to our youth. I mean, he doesn't just deliver those babies. I mean, he follows them through high school and their 20s and makes sure that they are on the right path. And for several years, I did youth outreach on the national level, and I traveled to all of the states and talked to the Republican Women's Clubs about getting more young people involved. I have to tell y'all, I never saw a county chair who was so just passionate and laser focused on our youth as Dr. Wally is. And you know, you think, oh, okay, I've been county chairman for 54 years. I can kind of rest on my laurels here. But no, I mean, he is wanting to start even more clubs. So if y'all are in a Republican Women's Club and you haven't already sponsored a high school club, I encourage you to talk to Dr. Wally about that. He'll point you in the right direction. So, you know, on behalf of all the high school students and the young Republican clubs, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Dr. Wally, for your dedication and your perseverance to all of our youth. Thank you very much.
Democratic, Republican women, I just love all the Republican women groups. I want to mention them all. Now we'll have Marissa Rummel and Marlene Tejada talk about the Hispanic outreach effort. Who's going to go first?
I was asked to introduce Marlene Tejada. And Dr. Wally, I hope that God continues to shine his face on you. God bless you. Dr. Marlene Tejada is an educator, independent education consultant, and social change facilitator in Conroe and Montgomery County. Marlene graduated from the University of Pontificia Bolivia in Medellin, Colombia, with a bachelor degree in education, a master's degree in education cultural anthropology, and a PhD in sociology. Dr. Marlene is the volunteer City of Conroe Hispanic Liaison. She actively contributes to the creation and promotion of diverse programs related to the Hispanic community. Among these programs are free adult educational programs such as English as a second language courses and free GED and free citizenship classes. Dr. Marlene is also an advocate for women's rights, as she has provided programs related to gender equality, supports battered women groups, has participated in medical campaigns for cancer prevention, and social assistance for the terminally ill. Marlene is the CEO and founder of the Alliance of New Americans in Conroe, Vice Chair of the Greater Conroe Latino Chamber of Commerce, Board Member of the Oscar Johnson Center, Volunteer Deputy Registrar in Montgomery County. On May 29, 2008, Marlene was honored by receiving the President's Call to Service Award from President Bush's Council on Service and Civic Participation for dedicating more than 4,000 hours to serve others at home and abroad. On November 17, 2005, she received the Oakley Award from the Mexican government. The Oakley Award is the official recognition and the highest award bestowed by the Mexican government to individuals who have contributed to the empowerment of Mexican and Mexican-American communities in the United States. On May 26, 2005, Marlene also received a proclamation by the City of Conroe proclaiming May 26 as Marlene Tejeda Day in Conroe, Texas. Whether participating on a court committee to assist troubled teenagers, preparing U.S. residents to become citizens, or registering voters of all ages, she feels honored to serve the community that she calls home. Let's welcome Dr. Marlene Tejeda.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Marisa, for the introduction and for working side by side with the Hispanic community and for everything you do for our body in Montgomery County. I'm honored to be surrounded by an energetic and productive group of Republican leaders from Conroe and Montgomery County. I would like to thank you for inviting me to speak tonight. As a resident of Conroe for the past 30 years, I have seen the growth and change of the city, county, and Republican Party in Montgomery County. According to the U.S. Census in 2017, we had 84,378 persons living within the city limit area. 34.2% were Latinos. Conroe was placed number 1 with 7.8 among the 15 fastest growing large cities by percentage change in the United States between 2015 and 2016. Hispanics make up for 16.12% of registered voters in the city of Conroe. Also, the U.S. Census reported in 2017 that Montgomery County population was 570,934 persons, and 24.1% of Montgomery population are from Latin America. 20.7% are Latinos registered to vote in Montgomery County. CISD is one of the fastest growing school districts with 1,500 students registering to CISD per year. They have a student population of 61,000 students with 35.9% students from Latin America. According to the statistics from the Secretary of State, the number of registered voters in Montgomery County has almost tripled from 1994 to 2016. Statistics are very important facts that show us real numbers in demographics. What a big honor and no small task what I have to do tonight. Tonight, I'm going to be speaking about Dr. Wally Wilkerson, a visionary, a highly respected individual who was elected by us as the chair of the Montgomery County 50 years ago when this county was a Democratic county. And until this moment, he is our elected chair for Montgomery County Republican Party. In this time frame, the Hispanic population in Conroe has increased as well. And Chairman Wilkerson saw this as an opportunity to spread the word about the importance of voter registration. Instead of pushing a party, he built a foundation of trust and friendship. Before I continue listing his accomplishments, I want to share something with you. I heard this in a meeting 2 years ago regarding registering Latinos to vote and attending the different subdivisions that we have in Conroe, specifically those that are living in Lake Wildwood, Crystal Forest, and Deerwood. By the way, Susan from Deerwood is here, and Lino, and thank you for being here. Some individuals said that they could not register people to vote in that area because it was very dangerous. They might kill you if you go to register somebody to vote. And if you go to register somebody to vote, you need to be accompanied by a police officer or by a sheriff. That is not true. I live in Conroe. I visited those neighborhoods. Let me inform you that although those areas are associated with a lower socio-economic status, outreach is still possible in 2018, and we do need to register citizens to vote. I'm aware of multiple agencies that have success in doing so. When others have decided to exclude certain groups, including Latinos, Dr. Wilkerson saw an opportunity to embrace, interact, and create a partnership with us hand by hand. For many years, and not only with the Latino voters from our town, but from all races and from all voters from our community. I truly commend Dr. Wilkerson for being brave, for working with us to outreach for minority voters, for assisting us by making copies when we ran out of material, for educating us about the importance of the vote, about the difference between being a Republican and a Democrat. When other labels Latinos as a challenge, Dr. Wilkerson welcomed them as a friend, as friends. We are so blessed to have a fearless leader in him. The Republican Party in Montgomery County and the Community Engagement Committee has been involved with us in tutoring, free English as second language classes, free citizenship classes for legal U.S. residents, registering Latinos and minorities to vote at our festivals, at Hispanic Heritage Celebration, and has distributed Spanish versions of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. In turn, the Hispanic community signs up to support Republicans when running for various positions in offices by volunteering their time at phone banks, block walks, rallies, voting, and much more. The partnership we have cultivated over the last 30 years continue to grow and succeed. Your commitment to our program have taken us to follow the path to obtain U.S. citizenship by expanding our program to 7 different cities, to take the blueprint to other cities, to encourage Latino voters to participate in our party and to vote. I know we will also inspire future generations of Hispanic Republican leaders to become active in politics and to run for our party. Again, I'm grateful to be here with all of you tonight. Let's keep up the great work we do for Conroe and for the citizens of Montgomery County. Dr. Wilkerson's name is written in history. He is a legend in Montgomery County. He is an exemplary human being. He already made history in our city and county. His leadership set an example for us to follow for years to come. I hope you leave this evening inspired by the extraordinary work he has done for so many years. We need to be prepared for this year's November election and for 2020 presidential elections. Montgomery County Republican Party belong to us. When any of our candidates win, we all win. When a Republican wins in Montgomery County, we all win. Let's work together as one. It is imperative to do it. We cannot go back to 50 years ago when this county used to belong to the Democrat Party. Our future depends on us. God bless Conroe, God bless Montgomery County, and God bless Texas.
Now, she would help me welcome Rob Eisler, a past state representative, to talk about an upcoming fundraiser for the Republican candidate. Rob?
Thanks, Craig. Thanks. Mil gracias por su trabajo. Jim Schultz was supposed to talk about the flyer tonight, but he didn't make it, so Jim Frederick said, why don't you get an old pilot to cover the flyer? So he did. 2 weeks, sorry Alex, 2 weeks from tomorrow, 2 weeks from tomorrow night, 2 weeks from tomorrow is the rally, okay? October 10th, 7 to 9, if you have this, does everybody have one of these flyers? If not, listen. Lone Star Convention Center featuring Congressman Kevin Brady and Chairman of the Railroad Commission, and those of you in the oil business know there's no railroads in the Railroad Commission. But that's Christy Craddock. They're the featured speakers. It's a kickoff for the 2018 election season, and it's very important. And I know many of you think, well, geez, well, not in this audience. You know how important it is to vote. And I don't know if you know the list of one-vote victories. You know, the national language of this country is English. It beat German by 1 vote. The national bird is the eagle from Philadelphia that beat the wild turkey by 1 vote. Probably know that, unless you drink it. But, and of course there are a bunch of others. There's 1876, Samuel J. Tilden lost to Rutherford B. Hayes by 1 vote in the presidential election. Anyway, so you know it's important to vote. We've got a full list of candidates, and we've got to keep Montgomery County red, and we need to keep that Supreme Court clean.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
Thursday's a big day. It shouldn't have to be, but that's my editorial comment. So, next is a song by Craig Doyle, accompanied by Mary Sarah. Mary Sarah, it's coming up.
Real quick, thanks, Rob. Montgomery County Young Republicans, some of who are in the audience tonight, a group from 18 to 40 years of age, they just block walking and volunteer at the Republican headquarters. So thank you to Montgomery County Young Republicans as well. And now, as a special treat, I am not going to sing. Sarah's going to come join us again for a very special version of God Bless America.
When the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair. Let us raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide
one, give some messages.
All right, sound man in the back, bring up the house lights, please, because if anybody starts shooting, I want to at least know who did it. House lights, please. All right, very good. I want every Republican woman that's here tonight to stand. We weren't able to see y'all a while ago because of the darkness. Look at this. Look at this. This is the backbone of our party. And we're so thankful for every one of you and what you do and your support of Dr. Wally here tonight. Dr. Wally Wilkerson is the definition of what servant leadership is. I was asked tonight to talk about unity, and so I looked up the definition of unity. It says the state of being united or joined, a condition of harmony. Now, a lot of people confuse unity and uniformity. There's some folks that think that if you don't think the way I think, then you're not a Republican. If you don't have the same view on a particular issue, then you're not really a Republican. We need to know that the party of Lincoln, the party of Ronald Reagan, is known for being the welcoming party of the poor, the rich, the weak, and the strong. History records that the Republican Party is about righting the wrongs of our nation and bad government. Not one Republican in the history of our nation owned a slave. Not one. Slave owners were all what? Democrats. I find it very disrespectful to see the behavior of the Democrats in the process of confirming Judge Kavanaugh. The last 90 days to confirm this public servant that has dedicated and has a proven record of 25 years of dedicated service. Not one collaborated, one shred of evidence can have his good name and have brought his good name through the mud by the disrespect of the Democrats and their best friends at the media. It's terrible what they've done. It's terrible what the evilness of this and the chaos and them stepping up after microphone and saying, we believe, this is true, and having no shred of evidence. The chaos of those hearings. Senator Graham last night said it really good on Hannity. He said, this is not an issue about sex. This is an issue about power, and the Democrats will do anything to destroy President Trump and anybody associated with him.
That's right.
They don't believe in the rule of law. They want to end law. This fake blue wave is attempting to hijack the voice of the American people that sent out a loud, clear message in 2016. This fake blue wave needs to run into a huge red wall in Texas and in Montgomery County. Gentlemen, we are in a cultural civil war out to destroy the constitutional and the foundational principles of our republic. Silence is no longer an option. Silence is no longer an option. I want every elected official that's here tonight to stand. We couldn't see you all a while ago either. Every elected official, please stand. I want to thank you for having the courage to be here tonight. Thank you for having the courage for being here tonight, because elected officials do the right thing even when nobody's looking. And we thank you for being here tonight and doing the right thing. History tells us we cannot be silent, because it's Republicans that speak out for life. It's Republicans that speak out for religious liberty. It's Republicans that speak out for smaller government, less taxes, and freedom. Pastor Dietrich Bonhoeffer said this: silence in the face of evil is evil itself. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. I'm so thankful that we have leaders in this community and members of this community that are willing to stand with Dr. Wilkerson and our county chair, our elected county chair. Silence is not an option. Now, when did Pastor Bonhoeffer say this? Just before the Nazis killed him in a concentration camp. Why is Texas so important this November? Because if Texas falls, so goes the nation.
That's right.
And if our nation falls, there goes the hope and the freedom of everyone else in the world.
That's right.
America has always been that bright, shining light for freedom and liberty. And it's important that we be united as a party. Not uniformity. It's okay for you to have a different view. We elected officials need to be held accountable to the Republican platform. And we talk about term limits. I got news for you. Every 4 years we have term limits. Our poor Kevin Brady every 2 years. We have term limits, but it involves engaged, informed people and us as a party being united. We're here tonight because we want to show our unity and our support for one of the greatest leaders in our community. We are the 7th fastest growing county in the nation because of leadership, because of Republican leadership. And this man right here made it all happen. When it wasn't popular to stand up and say Republican, when it wasn't popular to say I'm a conservative, when it wasn't popular to say I'm a part of that party of Reagan and the party for freedom and liberty. He did that. Many times by himself. And the Republican women of this county have been a big part of that well, but that happened with his leadership. Current behavior of some in our party, the last 2 executive committee meetings, has really just put a dark shadow on public discourse. And I tell you this, and I already had some folks come up to me and say, I'm here on the other side, and I said, well, I thought we were all on the same side, but that's a whole other story.
Right?
A house divided cannot stand.
That's right.
A house divided cannot stand. And the Democrats are counting on that. They want to turn Texas purple. They want a blue wave to sweep in here. And I'm telling you, in the name of all that's holy and true and all the lovely Wilkersons of Texas, the blue wave is going to run into a red wall. Woo! Man alive, that'll make a Baptist Pentecostal right there. My Lord and my God. Yeah. That'll make an Episcopalian nod like a Methodist. A house divided not can stand. I can tell you from the outside looking in, people are looking at us. I've been stopped at the post office. I'm sitting in a restaurant. People coming up to me and going, what is going on? We have to, as a party, stand together side by side. This is not conservative versus moderate. This is not Tea Party versus establishment. We are Republicans. We're not libertarians. We're not this ism. We're not that ism. We're not this party. We're the Republican Party. And we have to stand. We have to stand, and we have to be loud and proud and united to be Republicans. We need to pray. Because this nation is under attack. If you would have told me when I ran for office that I'd be sued by an atheist organization for doing pledges and having a prayer in my courtroom, I would have looked at you like you were crazy. But for 4 years, I've been fighting this organization. Just today, I saw a press release by Attorney General Ken Paxton where a school district is being sued for saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States flag and the Texas flag. Do you not think for one moment that they are trying to rob, steal, and destroy what are the foundational principles of our democracy? We need to stand. We need to stand united. The Bible says, if my people, which were called by my name, would humble themselves and pray and turn from their wickedness, he said they would hear from heaven and he would heal our land. It's my prayer tonight that God heals our land. God heals our land. I'm sure there's a red cattle somewhere telling me to sit down and be quiet, but I say thank you for being here. Dr. Wilkerson, thank you for being a light. Thank you for being a light. As a custodian working in the maintenance department in Montgomery County, working downtown, sweeping and mopping floors at the courthouse, and going from the courthouse to what used to be Election Center is now Rigby Owen Theater. I remember seeing this kind man meet me on the street, leaving the Republican headquarters, and always taking the time to speak to me. Seeing him in meetings when we used to have meetings in the commissioner courtroom in the courthouse, always speaking to me. When I got involved in the Republican Party in 1992, he welcomed me. I was just a janitor, and he welcomed me. And then in 1999, he asked me to become a precinct chair. All in the middle of mess and chaos. And I learned so much watching his leadership, watching him give a gentle answer to folks that were just mean and vile and said all the terrible things back in that time. That as a party we were too liberal. Proof is in the pudding. We are the reddest county in Texas because of that man right there. God bless Montgomery County. God bless the Republican Party. And God bless America. And let's stand together. Let's no longer be silent. And we need to speak out loud and proud that we are the Republican Party of Montgomery County.
My comments are scheduled right after Wayne Matt. I appreciate that, Christian. I didn't know Dr. Wally when he became chairman of the Republican Party. I was real busy at that time, being potty trained. A long time ago. But immediately upon my introduction to politics, I became very quickly introduced to Dr. Wally Wilkerson. And I can tell you that there were a number of times that, as Judge Mack mentioned, that in politics you're going to be attacked. Those of you that hold elected office or have ever run for elected office or have been around elections know that those attacks will come. But Dr. Wilkerson was always that voice of reason. He was that voice of stability. He was that voice of consistency that always had a good, solid, positive message no matter what the battle was. Dr. Wilkerson, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And we heard Commissioner Metter a while ago talking about Malcolm Purvis. I worked with Malcolm Purvis when he was elected in 1994 as a Democrat. And immediately after that election, switched to the Republican Party because of Dr. Wally Wilkerson. He won as a Democrat and then switched parties. And you'll hear a lot of that, he switched parties to win. No, he didn't. He won as a Democrat and then switched because he listened to what Dr. Wilkerson had to say. And you see a lot of people, and Judge Mack talked about it a little bit, some of the disruption and the distraction that's going on out there right now within this county. You've been to one of our commissioner court meetings, you've seen it. You've been to an executive committee meeting, you've seen it. I'm reminded, I don't know how many of you watch Game of Thrones. There's a particular character on there that tends to pit people against one another. It creates all that same distraction. He said, I heard it one night and I thought, wow, it struck me to my core when he said, chaos is a ladder. No, it is not. It's a slippery slope that we will fall down if we're not careful. Because that unity is what will make this party stronger and keep this party stronger. I see the destruction and disruption that it's having in this county. I was talking to the executive or the economic development leader for Fort Bend County the other day. And he said, gosh, Montgomery County is one of our greatest tools. There are companies that are wanting to come to the Houston area and they come to Fort Bend County because they don't want to be in Montgomery County where there's disruption and all this infighting going on. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. I can tell you that now, more than ever, we need that voice of reason, Dr. Wally. We need that voice of consistency, that voice of stability, and we appreciate everything that you have done for this county over the last 50 plus years. So thank you, Dr. Wally. Marty, you're here to represent Congressman Kevin Brady.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Thomas Mardick. I work for Congressman Kevin Brady. I am honored to be up here today, being able to speak on behalf of Congressman Brady, for such an amazing man, for an icon of our community, for an icon of the Montgomery County Republican Party, for the parties in Texas, and honestly for the country, Dr. Wally Wilkerson. This is absolutely fantastic for me. There was no, as we heard throughout this night, there was no Montgomery County Republican Party before Dr. Wally. Dr. Wally is the heart of Montgomery County. He's the soul of Montgomery County. All these people here today, here to support you, all these amazing stories about you. It's just amazing to hear more about your life, and I hope to continue to get to know you better on a personal note. When I met Dr. Wally, I've met many politicians. I worked for a party down in Harris County, and he was one of the nicest people, one of the nicest chairmen, and remembered my name, so kind to me, helping me out, showing me the way, and I thank you very much on a personal note. Now, on Congressman Brady's stance, he wants to convey to you his full support, just as you've given your full support to our county. We've heard a little bit now from Judge Wayne Mack and for Judge Doyle. The Democrats are coming. They're coming, and we are going to have another fight on our hands. And they're knocking on our door, literally and figuratively. They're knocking on my door. They're knocking on your doors. I'm sure somebody out here has had a person or two knock on their doors, and we got to fight back. And the way we fight back is by unifying. We unify together to beat the Democrats, because that's what it's about. That's what it's about, to win, to get good, qualified candidates in. Dr. Wilkerson has done that before, he's going to do it again, and he's going to be the one to lead our party yet again to another great victory here in November. This is too much of an important time in order to slack off, to be fighting amongst ourselves, and to not be united. Wally, you deserve respect. You deserve respect from us. You deserve respect. We want to be around you. We want to learn from you. We want to make sure that you go out on a high note. You go out the way that you deserve when you decide, because no one's going to beat you. We've seen that. We win time and time and time again. We're praying for your success. We're going to be standing by you. We're going to be praying with you. We wish you the best. Congressman Brady is sorry you couldn't be here. Heather Washburn wanted me to say that she wished you could be here too. Everybody loves you, Wally. Happy to be up here speaking about you. Thank you very much, and you have a good rest of the night.
Most of you know that Senator Nichols represents 19 counties, which is a lot of most of East Texas. And right now he is on a mission, as he is before every legislative session, to do something very remarkable. He has 101 school districts, and he meets with all 101 school superintendents, or tries to, before the session. So that's what he's doing during this time. But when I talked to him, he said, I can't be there for the Rally for Wally, but I want you to be there and represent me. And I said, well, what would you want me to say? And he said, well, a few months ago, I wrote a letter to Dr. Wilkerson just from my heart. And he said, why don't you go ahead and read that letter, because it really says everything I want to say. Dear Dr. Wilkerson, I am writing this letter to express my sincere appreciation and full support of your continued leadership of the Montgomery County Republican Party. Even before I first ran for the Texas Senate in the summer of 2005, your reputation as a fair and effective leader was well known to me. Montgomery County had already secured Republican office holders in every elected office for many years under your chairmanship. You have always been kind, helpful, and welcoming, even to the outsiders like me. I appreciated then, as I do now, your commitment to advancing Republican ideas and the rule of law ahead of partisan politics. Please know how much of an honor it is to represent Montgomery County in the Texas Senate. Please do not hesitate to contact me if I may be of any assistance to you or the Montgomery County Republican Party. And I can tell you, Wally, at our office, we love you and Eddie Jane, and we appreciate you.
Please welcome State Representative Cecil Bell.
Thank you, Judge. First off, who's glad we have President Trump in the White House? I tell you what, I hear about different comments across the country. I don't hear anybody that doesn't think we're in a better place than we were 8 years ago. Thank God. Dr. Wally, I don't know if you remember it, but when I decided I was going to run for state rep, I came to see you. You were the first guy I came to see. And I asked him, I said, do you have any advice? And he said, well, he said, you need to be true to yourself. So I've been true to myself. When I walked in the building, I told them, after being elected, I said, I don't drink, I don't play golf, I brought my own woman. So I have been true, just like the other reps said, well, why are you here? I said, because House District 3 and the citizens of the state of Texas sent me to do a job. Same thing you've been doing all this time, Dr. Wally. In the 84th legislative session, we had the honor of passing a proclamation recognizing the 50th anniversary of your service as our county chair. And I was standing beside Dr. Wally on that occasion, up on the dais, that elevated platform, and they were taking pictures. I looked over at him and I said, Dr. Wally, this is incredible. And he said, it is pretty incredible. I said, you know what's most incredible? And he said, what? And I said, I was 4 when you started that job. He said, you sure know how to pick the fella up. But I'm going to tell you something. I have a Democrat on this ballot, as do a number of people in red counties. You know why? Because they are planning on us sitting at home and not paying attention to the fact that they're trying to treat all these races like they were primary races. They want to stand up that population that votes libertarian, that votes that doesn't vote. They want to stand them up and they want to move them, not necessarily because they think they're going to be able to win House District 3, but because they believe they can win Senator Cruz's seat if we will not be active. But I'm with Judge Mack in saying I believe the blue wave will hit a red wall, and it'll hit a red wall because we're not going to stand down in the state of Texas. We're going to stand up. Just exactly like we do when we say the pledge. Just exactly like we do whenever we're talking about God, country, or family. We stand up, and we're standing up and recognizing you. I greatly appreciate your service to our county. I greatly appreciate all that you do. And as I have said on numerous occasions, if you need anything from me, I'm a phone call away and I'll saddle up and come running. We appreciate you, and we appreciate especially, I'm going to step away. I want to say I appreciate you, Ms. Wilkerson, for letting him serve this county and this state. So here's my commitment to you. I'm going to run hard for House District 3. I'm going to run hard reminding everybody that Republicans, Republican women, Republicans in general are going to stand up. They're going to stand up in Texas. We're going to stand up across this country. We're not going to take this concept you bring money into Texas that you can drop your real name. Robert Francis is going to have to run as Robert Francis. He does not need to be allowed to pull who he is off of his commercials and try to run this thing like it was a primary, where maybe you might expect some of these types of conversations. He needs to be branded with that party platform, and he needs to be branded with his voting record to show where he stands, and Texas needs to do that across the board whenever we have people who claim to be without a clear identity. Let's show them what their identity is. Let's keep Texas red. Thank you again. God bless you, and God bless Texas.
A lady that spent a lot of time with Dr. Wilkerson as his nurse, Nurse Geraldine Helms.
I have the privilege and honor of being Dr. Wilkerson's nurse for the last 5 years that he practiced medicine. When I think of him, words come to mind: self-discipline. If you live in Conroe and are up early, chances are you've seen Dr. Wally and Miss Nettie Jane walking through Conroe on the morning walk. I never saw him consume all the junk food that was available in our office like the rest of us did. He practiced what he preached. He came to work on time with his dressed in a white coat, shine shoes, and a tie. He strove to stay on schedule, which is difficult when you're dealing with ill patients. He studied and kept up to date, so he was qualified to teach third-year medical students. I learned so much by listening to him help them reason through diagnosis. He also encouraged Dr. Scarborough to do the same by bringing his study tapes to him long after he retired. Dr. Wilkerson was amazing at remembering people and the stories behind them. One of his favorite stories to tell our students was one time he and Dr. Sadler were performing an appendectomy on a 27-year-old male. They were about to close him up, and the anesthesiologist said, "We're losing him," and I'm not kidding. Dr. Wilkerson looked up at Dr. Sadler and said, "Have you ever cracked a chest?" And neither one of them had, but they proceeded to do that to perform internal CPR because external CPR had not been discovered and saved that man's life. Wow. He received a letter from a specialist at Texas Children's Hospital commending him for recognizing a rare liver disease in a 6-month-old baby girl. The letter stated that very few family practice doctors would have caught that at a well child checkup. She looked like a picture of help to me, too. When Dr. Wilkerson decided to retire, Mary Brown, his receptionist, and I contacted all his patients. We heard stories of countless babies he delivered, lives he had improved and saved. I still have people ask me how Dr. Wally's doing. There's a poem that goes, "A better person I'll be, because once I rubbed shoulders with you." Dr. Wilkerson, look around this room. We are all better people, because once we rubbed shoulders with you. I'm also blessed to be Dr. Scarborough's nurse.
Hello. I'm Dr. Kyle Scarborough, and I have a family practice here in Conroe. Have had for the last 25 years. I came here in July of '93 and joined the Sadler Clinic at a time when Dr. Wilkerson was preparing for retirement. And you've all talked about these wonderful memories of when he was a doctor here, and I wasn't here for that, so I didn't see that. But what you did mention is the horror and dismay when he mentioned his retirement and announced that to the community. I had a front row seat for that. The first 2 words out of my first 1,000 patients here was, "Where's Wally?" So So I basically inherited his practice and with some persistence and some persuasion. Some of you who were patient with this and have stayed with me, some people were gracious enough to allow me to practice here and give me a chance, and I've been here for the last 25 years. As I was transitioning into the practice and he was transitioning out, he taught me about the practice of medicine. Not so much diagnosis and treatment, but that family medicine was really about relationships and communication and service to the community. As I got to know Wally a little better, I learned about his activities and his passion for politics, particularly the Republican Party. But what I didn't hear a lot was battles, political battles, agendas, that sort of thing, not really at the clinic. It seemed to me that he approaches politics the same way that he approaches practice. It was about relationships and service to the community. I heard about his work with the Salvation Army and projects for disadvantaged children long before I heard about his activities on the larger stage. And the few times he ever asked me for help, really for anything, really, it was to help out one of his folks that worked with the Salvation Army or Goodwill or somebody else that was in need. I'm sure you know he was one of the founders of the Sadler Clinic, which I still believe was one of the greatest community clinics that ever existed. Along with Dean Sadler and Earl Watson, he created a clinic with a mission to provide medical care in this county and to keep medical care in this county. Long before the name brand hospitals started coming north looking for their share of the market share. And I do regret that after 50 years of operation of that clinic, that we could not keep your legacy alive there, adhering to that mission and that priority and that community service. We tried, but we fell short without the vision of its founders. Still, I'm grateful to Dr. Wilkerson for having experience in my impressionable years of my practice. Any success I really had in this community, I owe in large part to the principles I learned from my friend and my mentor. Wally's one of the most decent, compassionate, genuine men that I've ever known. As you know, that's not easy these days to say about people in positions of great influence. Personally, I've fallen short of Wally's contributions to this community, much less to the country. I've not measured up to his standards, his energy, his vision, his compassion that everybody's mentioned here, and to the man himself. But it doesn't mean I can't have heroes. And he continued to inspire me today to do my best, and I really appreciate that.
Wally, on behalf of the Salvation Army here in Montgomery County and around the world, we want to say thank you for 30 years plus of dedication to the needs of all the people in the Salvation Army that the Salvation Army serves. Numbers of young people have had the opportunity to attend summer camp because you took your time to complete all the necessary medical checkups that they were required to have before they could accept the gift. In addition, there have been numbers of services provided by you that none of us know, only you and the recipients. And then I'm reminded about, since we're close to Christmas, about your coming day after day, morning and evening, and driving bell ringers to their particular jobs during the Christmas season. He had lots of stories about that, and we appreciate it. You have been diligent in keeping your eyes on our monthly financial statements and always asking the right questions. Without your dedication and leadership, it would have been extremely difficult to have constructed the beautiful facilities that we have for serving people in need and providing a place for the homeless. It has been my joy to serve with you and watch as you get the job done with a smile and a quiet voice. Thousands of folks in Montgomery County have been the beneficiary of your dedication and service to mankind. We thank you and look forward to the years ahead. There is much more to do, but you always seem to find the time to do the most good for mankind. Thank you, Wally.
Thank you. Now we have a special presentation from Susan Johnson. Susan.
Thank you. It was mentioned a few minutes ago that in 1995, Governor Bush appointed Dr. Wilkerson as the chairman of the Texas State Board of Health. I got to ask Dr. Wilkerson about serving in that capacity, and he shared a few things with me. One of the main duties that he had the privilege of having was that he was one of the first big advocates in pro-life issues. In 1995, that was not at the forefront like it is today. And that was one of the duties that he said that he was very happy that he got to be a champion for. He said that when there were committees that were meeting in the legislature that were dealing with pro-life issues, he would go and he would speak on behalf of pro-life beliefs. And so not only has he been very active in local politics, but he has been someone who's been called on numerous times in his 54 years to represent Montgomery County in leadership positions, and that is one I did not know about. So we are very grateful for your leadership at a time when it was just beginning to be at the forefront of political issues. You know, we've talked a lot tonight about the things that we know about Dr. Wally and that we've experienced personally. And he is one of the most humble men that I believe I have ever met. If any of you have spent any time at all with Dr. Wally, I think your blood pressure slows down because he's calming. I have personally witnessed some very agitated and excited people come in to visit with him. And by the time he spends a few minutes with them, they are beginning to be more calm. They listen to him. I think that's one of the most wonderful leadership qualities that we have experienced as a result of Dr. Wally's many years of leadership here. Dr. Wally, you are one of the reasons that Texas is great. You exemplify the leadership that we love and the things that we love about Texas. On behalf of my fellow Texans, my fellow Montgomery County Republicans, and my fellow Montgomery County Republican women, I offer our thanks to you for being a man of action, and as you have worked tirelessly to elect and keep Republicans in office. We are deeply grateful for the generous and tireless work you have done to turn Montgomery County deep red. Through your lifetime investment, you have been instrumental in making a lasting change that will continue to impact generations to come. We are grateful to you for your leadership and for your example. I'd like to read something really quickly here that I received today. We'll receive the official copy that we will have framed for you, but this is from State of Texas. To all to whom these presents shall come, greetings. Know that this is an official recognition as presented to Dr. Wally Wilkerson in recognition of your 54 years of meritorious service to Montgomery County. And it's signed by Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas. So thank you. Dr. Wally, would you come and join us on the stage for a moment? I want to tell you, we tried to get him to sit up here, and he wouldn't do it. So, his family is here. Nettie Jane is here with him. Dr. Wally, please come up here. Craig, could you come and join us, please? like to show you, we have something to present to Dr. Wally. It's a very heavy clock that almost fell off up here while I was trying to hold on to it. Dr. Wally, I'd like to read this. It says, Dr. Walter Wally Wilkerson, thank you for your time and dedication in celebrating 54 years as Montgomery County Republican Chairman from the people of Montgomery County, and it's dated today. Thank you. Would you please tell us a few things?
Well, I'm not sure I recognize who we've been talking about. Well, I want to thank everybody for the wonderful tribute into the humbling experience, and I appreciate everything everybody said and done. It reminds me that I guess a few times that I remained speechless, and this is kind of one of them, but I wanted to quickly tell you about the other time. It dates back to 1976. And in 1976 was the first time that Texas had a presidential primary. And I got home late one evening after a rough day in the office, and then Jane fixed me something to eat, and right away the phone rang. And I went to answer the phone, and the person on the other end of the line said, "Hold for the White House." I said, "I've had a tough day, I'm pretty tired, I'm not in the mood for jokes." He said, "No, sir, this is not a joke." I said, "Okay." The next voice I heard was President Gerald Ford. And he was soliciting my support in his campaign to be re-elected president. So we had this rally in Conroe on April the 26th, 1976. The president had never been to Conroe before, and so everybody was excited, and we had all the bands and everything, and they said, "Now, Doctor, you can sit on the podium." And I thought, boy, 1976, there were no elected Republicans in Montgomery County. And this is a dream come true, I guess. And so the day before the event, they called me and they said, "Well, someone, a congressman from the district, Charlie Wilson, wants to come to the rally. And so I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to sit on the podium because the congressman needs your seat. But, Doctor, when President's limousine parks over on West Davis Street there, I want you to stand there by the limousine, and we had a reception at the Holiday Inn after the event, and said you can ride in the limousine with President Ford out to the Holiday Inn. I thought, well, that's probably even better than sitting up on the podium. But I thought about it, and I practiced what I was going to say to the President of the United States. And I thought I had it memorized. But as I stood there by that limousine and heard him play Hail to the Chief, I thought, I can't believe this is happening. Not here in Montgomery County. But it was. And so he finished his speech, and I could see him coming, and I went over my little speech that I was going to make. He got there, and I completely forgot. And I blurted out, "Isn't the weather good?" President Ford was a gentleman, and I sat in the jump seat next to him, and Senator John Tower was there as well. And that was a dream come true. But I was speechless. So I want to thank everybody that had anything to do with this event. My wife and I are so honored to be here tonight, and honored to hear all the wonderful things. And I love practicing medicine, and I especially appreciate Dr. Scarborough and my nurse being here tonight, because they were a special part of my life. So thank you very much for all you've done.
We've got one final performance, and that will conclude tonight's ceremony. Please help me welcome Commissioner Charlie Riley and Magnolia Superintendent Dr. Todd Stevens as they wrap us up in song. And as we leave after their performance here, you can join them if you want to. Let me just say, God bless Montgomery County, God bless Texas, God bless the United States, and God bless you and your family, Dr. Wally.
There's not a whole lot more I can say to Dr. Wally than thank you, so I'll just leave it at that. Please feel free to sing along, to clap along. If you even want, anybody wants to, y'all can even come up here and sing it, and I'll go sit down and clap. So, what a great night. I think if we, Dr. Wally, if we could get our whole band together and these speakers to come out, we could take this show on the road and have a dialogue. So, we're going to do a couple of old gospel hymns that I'm sure everybody remembers. But if you feel free to stand up, sing. You ready to come? Let me get out of your way. All right, ready? Some black morning when this life is over, I went to God's celestial shore. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy will never end. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by my, I'll fly away to the surface, be unbroken, find my Lord, find my, there's a bed on the way, in the sky, Lord, in the sky, I will sit by my window on a cold rain day. When I saw us come stealing, Lord, to carry my mother away, will search the unbroken, find my Lord, find my, there's a bed on the way, in the sky, Lord, in the sky. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away.
Good night.